Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Murillo Ninja Hua to defeat Sergey Haritonov. And I'm here to talk about Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill, main event for the upcoming fight night. And this fight was a co-main, I think. I don't know. Maybe it was just on the main card. But it was for 3 rounds, nevertheless. Last week, and I forget what happened this week, who pulled out or what happened, but they both stepped up on short notice. Credit to both of them. I know they're both in fight shape, but hopefully those extra 2 rounds, if they should have to fight them, aren't going to be a problem. Either way, let's get into it. Mackenzie Dern is 12-3 as a pro, 30 years old. She should have 1 inch of height, but give up 1.5 inches of reach to Angela Hill, who is 38 years old and 15-2 as a pro. 15-12. It's a very underrated 15-12. But anyway, Mackenzie Dern, let's get into it. 12-3. The 12 wins come 7 by submission, 5 by decision. The 3 losses all come by decision. She's only lost in the UFC to excellent fighters: Yan Xiaonan, Marina Rodriguez, and Amanda Hibosh. The first 2 were 5-rounders. And aside from the Hibosh fight, really, she's had moments at all of them. And even in losing effort, she's still shown a lot of great traits as a fighter. She's really tough. She's definitely got some grit. And she's also got some other intangibles. She's got power, to be honest, Mackenzie Dern. She's definitely got the harder overhand right in this matchup and in most matchups, in my opinion. She can crack, but her striking is limited. Definitely limited. And I think in this fight, it would prove to be limited as well in more of a kickboxing affair against Angela Hill. Angela Hill is a straight puncher with great volume and great movement. If Mackenzie Dern's not able to get this fight to the ground, she's going to be losing this fight. If she is able to get it to the ground, though, she's probably going to be winning the fight. That's what you can say about most of her fights, because she is the best jiu-jitsu player in female MMA, probably, certainly that I can think of. You know, there are some good ones, but she's the best. And she's only got 7 submission victories in her 12 wins, but they're all over good fighters. She's gotten plenty of them in the UFC. The thing is, she has weak wrestling, Mackenzie Dern. Weak wrestling. Even in, again, those submission victories she's gotten, only one of them really was a fight that she took to the ground with the takedown, and that was against Nina Nunes, probably the last of which I expected her to take down. But she took her down and then put her away. Amanda Bobby Cooper, she knocked her down. Hannah Cyphers, whatever, you know, she kind of just gave her that fight, standing over Mackenzie, and decided to start playing leg games with her. Tisha Torres, not that she put her away, but that was a really tight decision, but she did some great work, ripping her to the ground with a Kimura. You know, Tisha's a very tough girl to dominate wrestling-wise. She also, against Marina Rodriguez, she kind of just crashed into her, fell to her back, laced up a leg, and made it a ground battle. Randa Marcos, there was some horseshit where whenever she missed a kick and Randa pounced on her. If anybody's stupid enough to pounce on her, which some fighters are, then welcome to the ground. But Mackenzie Dern, yeah, her wrestling is limited. But she does find a way to get it to the ground. And she, you know, like Amanda Bobby Cooper, she knocked down this other girl, Polk, before she got to the UFC. That's what led to her submission victory there. She finds a way to get it done, and one of her ways is power. Again, she has a big overhand right at the very least. But once she gets it to the ground, if a fighter is limited there or has, you know, any sort of problems with jiu-jitsu, Mackenzie's going to probably put him away. You know, I say probably, but she has gone the distance in 5 of her 12 victories. So, you know, she's no stranger to going the distance in a winning effort. But typically, her jiu-jitsu is going to be too much for her opponent, you know, where they're either going to just be dominated on the ground or finished. And Angela Hill, even though she's a tough girl to finish, she's certainly weak on the ground compared to Mackenzie Dern. I do think Mackenzie Dern is absolutely in the realm of finishing her. Of course, if Angela Hill wins, I'm very sure it's by decision. But let's get into Angela Hill. She's got 15 wins, 12 losses. The 15 wins are 5 by TKO, 10 by decision. And the 12 losses come 2 by submission and 10 by decision. She's only lost in the UFC. She pretty much started her career in the UFC. Then after a few losses, went to Invicta for a year and a half or something, 15 months. Had 4 victories there. Came back to the UFC, and she's been here ever since. I say here like I'm in the UFC. But really tough girl to get out of there. The 2 submission losses come to Rose Namajunas and Randa Marcos, who was submitted by Mackenzie Dern. Marcos got her with an armbar. Rose Namajunas got her with a tight rear naked choke. And Carla Esparza actually also got her with a rear naked choke on the Ultimate Fighter. But that was just a horrible matchup. I mean, Angela Hill had no MMA fights, I believe. And that was the tournament to crown the UFC champion, which ended up being Carla. So, no shame in losing that fight. But, again, she's had 2 UFC stints, came back after that 1 year in Invicta with a lot of success there. And even though she started losing right away, she lost right away to Jessica Andrade. That was her comeback fight. She gained a lot of fans in this last run. It's been going and going, and she's reached main event level despite having plenty of losses along the way. And it's because she gives a battle to anybody who fights her. You know, the few girls that submitted her did go through her in round 1. All 3 of those submission losses are round 1. But obviously all the 10 decisions are not. And she's lost some controversial ones along the way. Even the one 5-rounder she could have won was against Michelle Waterson. It ended up going Waterson's way. But Angela Hill is a scrapper. And I do think she's got a distinct advantage on the feet in this fight. If she's able to keep this fight standing, she's going to be winning the point battle. She's got great volume, great striking, sharp, straight strikes, and all complemented by great movement. So I really expect her to win the stand-up battle. The thing is, I'm predicting Mackenzie Dern gets her down and gets her out of there. With a gun to my head, that'd be my prediction. I have a hard time seeing Mackenzie Dern winning a decision, although it can be done. She's won 5 decisions in her 12 victories. She's no stranger to doing so. So I guess I shouldn't say I have a hard time seeing it. But I think if Mackenzie Dern does win, it's, with a submission. Again, Hill's only been submitted a few times, but Mackenzie Dern is the best jiu-jitsu artist she's ever fought. And I think if Mackenzie was on top of her, she would expose her. For the first time in a while, but she'd be the one to do it. And that's what I think is going to happen. Again, Mackenzie Dern's got very unorthodox ways of getting the fight to the ground, and that's only because she's limited orthodoxly, so to speak, with wrestling. But I know she's been working on that. I know after her loss to Yan Xiaonan, which was a very close fight in the end, and Mackenzie Dern was the last woman standing, I think she said something about I've got to be better. I've got to be better when I have opportunities on the ground. I've got to make sure I put these girls away. I'm better than this. So I expect her to be coming out with a vengeance here, and when she has her moment, I expect her to shine. As good as Angela Hill is, this is a fight in which if she's losing, I don't envision it being like a Michelle Waterson fight where did she win that round? Did she lose that round? I think if she loses a round to Mackenzie Dern, there's going to be no dispute about it. And I think if she loses a fight to Mackenzie Dern, there's not going to be too many rounds lost because she's going to get submitted. That's the prediction. That's the play. Not really the bet. That's the prediction. The bet is Mackenzie Dern by finish plus 120. Covers any round, submission or knockout, frankly, even though my only real bet is submission. I think that's her only path to victory, and I've hedged that with Angela Hill winning a decision, plus 185. I'm very sure that's Hill's only path to victory. I'm even more sure of that being Hill's path to victory than I am of submission being Dern's path to victory. But it's what I see happening. Dern by submission, I'll go round 2. It's where she's done a lot of great work against Yan Xiaonan, Marina Rodriguez, and whoever. So Dern round 2 is the pick. Could happen in any round, frankly. I think the fact that it's 5 rounds opens up her chances of finding that takedown, if you want to call it that, or whatever, her opportunity. And I think it's only going to take 1 or 2. I expect her to be a killer in this fight. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.